What do you get when you mix a health coach and a wellness coach mixed with a lot of curiosity? You get two people who ask a lot of questions about health and wellness. Today, we ask, what can you do when you are going through a hard season of life?
One thing that will always be true is that life will throw you for a loop when you least expect it. So, how do you stay on track in the middle of chaos? Let's get started as we ask.
Wait, what?
Hi, Leah.
Hi, Kamna.
It's
Long
been a
time.
long time since it's just the
Yeah,
two of us.
long time. And it's so funny because we talk a lot, but not in this format. So it's different.
And we don't catch up a lot. So this is always
No,
fun
no,
for
this
me.
is fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's catch up. What was your was sleep, my favorite topic in the whole world.
Well, I've had 3 weeks to work on this, and I have to tell you, I give myself an A, not an A plus, but an A. I'll tell
Oh,
you what I'm doing. So my call to action was to set up sort of a evening routine so that I could go to sleep earlier.
okay.
Because I was sort of dragging it out forever and ever, and then I wouldn't sleep, and then I'm fatigued the next day.
Isn't
And
that the revenge bedtime procrastination?
exactly, that's
Okay.
exactly what I was doing. So probably uh, a couple of weeks ago, I went to Washington, D.C. to visit my son. And I was exhausted and I was sleeping by 10 o'clock, which is very abnormal for me. I know that's very late for you, but for me to sleep at 10 p.m. is
Yeah.
unheard of. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I got to go to bed. And he's like, all right, go to bed. And it was really, really refreshing. And I felt so good. And I thought, well, I want to keep this up. So when I came home, I told my husband, I'm going to be done watching TV by 9 p.m. and I'm going to go upstairs. And I talked to my daughter for a little bit. We talked early. I told her, I said, can we talk earlier? Because I want to start getting to bed. So by 10, we're finished. By 10:30, I'm like lights out, winding down and asleep.
So in order for this to happen, you had conversations with people.
Yes, I
All right.
did.
So were you scared to have these conversations?
Oh no, you know what it is I'm a creature of habit and I
Okay.
do things the way I always do things, the way I always do things. So to make a change is a little bit like, oh gosh, it's so much work. But really, it wasn't.
Okay. I thought maybe like you would be hit with like your husband saying, "Really? That's so early," like or something like that. None of that?
No, I mean, he's very receptive to changes I want to make for myself. And plus, that
Yeah.
gives him more time to watch what he wants to watch on TV.
I was gonna say, so does that mean he did not go to bed at the same time?
No, he didn't.
Okay. So
No,
overall, would you say it's working? Do you feel better?
I do feel better. And I've had several early mornings. So I've had to have, I needed to have the sleep to function properly. And otherwise, you're just dragging through the day. So I'm really glad that I picked that as my call to action.
I love that so much.
Hmm.
I like that you had a conversation with people about it too.
Yeah.
I think that's really important. But I would
Yeah. I
imagine
think you're
some
right.
people don't want to talk to people about it.
Yeah.
It's
Because
like a
it's a
shame
change.
thing. Like you don't want people to shame, judge you, like, oh, you're going to bed so early.
But it's also a form of rejection. If I'm always spending the evening with my husband and I go to bed earlier, he might feel like I'm rejecting him or rejecting wanting to spend time with him, or there could
Yeah.
be a whole number of interpretations, but that's not the case.
Yes, I agree with you. But I also, on the other way, that's why it's important to have that talk because
Yes,
going to bed early is a form of self-care. And I don't think we
absolutely.
count at that. Like it's a very big form of self-care. And listen, I don't get my nails done. I very rarely get my hair done. What do I do as a form of self-care? I can go to bed at a decent time is self-care.
Absolutely.
And it's a free form of self-care.
Yes. And it's so nice.
It's
Yesterday I went to bed and I woke up at 12:30 and I felt like I'd slept for hours and it was only a very relatively short amount of time. So
Mhm.
I was like, oh boy, I think I just really need this. And the predictability is good for me falling asleep, for me staying asleep. All of the
Mhm.
things are better.
Good. Good, good. I like
How
this for you.
how was your call to action?
So, I kind of did a shift and I mean, my call to action was to focus on protein again. And after talking with Lisa and after doing some Chinese medicine, you know, in my own being in my own, I don't know, armchair theorist, whatever you want to call me, I went down this the path of like really looking at the month of September and going, I got to figure out what's going on in some parts of my life. Like, and it's stupid things. Like my
Oh,
big toe, I jokingly say I have gout. I don't have gout, but it hurts bad. Like
sure.
things like that. Like my hip and like just little things and they're not horrible that I would need to go to the doctor, but they're annoying considering I'm on my
Yes.
feet all day, right? So,
Yes.
I decided to stop eating meat on September
Okay.
1st. Okay.
This is a big secret.
Yes, this was a secret. I'm not being like, for example, I made soup and I used chicken broth. I'm not being picky about like that kind of thing. And if
Sure.
it touches my food, I don't care. That's not an issue with me. I just wanted to see if it would reduce any inflammation and anything in my body, just to kind of see. So with that being said, I knew that my protein was going to suffer. But what I am really, really, really focusing on is only eating whole foods.
Oh,
Or
okay.
or I take my app and I scan the food and I eat good quality ingredient food.
Wow.
Yeah. So like I still ate pasta, but it was good quality pasta that I used
Hmm.
with my chickpeas instead. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not looking at my macros or my fiber or my calories, or I am tracking, but I'm not looking at any of that. I'm just really focusing on eating good quality food.
So how do you feel not eating the meat?
I don't think I feel any different. And this is only day 18,
Hmm.
right? So I'm 18 days in. Um, I think I don't even know if I want to say this, it might jinx me. I think my scalp is getting better.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, which that wasn't even part of it. Like I was just like whatever. But I mean I think that is happening. So we'll see.
That's yeah, actually that change I think is I think you did it the right way. By taking the pressure off thing, I'm gonna try and you're not being uber strict.
No, I'm not.
And your version is not my version. And I think that's better for you because you still are cooking for people in your house. You still have to do the things for your family and it's
Right.
different. So I think the way you're doing it is really interesting and good for you.
Yeah, and I'm not putting any pressure on myself. If I had something, I would have it. But like we went out for Mexican and my daughter and I always split chicken fajitas, but I just ate all of the peppers and the onions out of it and put
Hmm.
it on a like bed of lettuce with, and I had the beans or whatever. But like I think for me, that's what's working. I guess if you're a vegetarian or a vegan, you probably would be like, that's not real,
But
whatever.
that's
But
not the point. You're not trying to be vegetarian. You're just trying
no,
to cut meat out of your diet.
right. I'm
There's a
actually not even
difference.
trying to do that. I'm trying to eat whole food, good quality food.
Hmm.
Good quality food. And the meat I buy, I mean, I'm sure it's not good quality. I don't go to a farm and buy straight from the butcher. I mean, it's the same as everybody buys in the store, which we all know
Sure.
is the best quality.
Right.
Buy grass fed because guess what? I can't afford it. That's the truth,
Right. Right.
So,
Yeah. And you're doing the best that you can, which I think
yeah.
is really important.
So I did not do my call to action. I shifted it.
Okay. You changed it.
I did.
But that's how what happens is sometimes you get inspiration from somewhere and you're like, wait, I need to do something different than what I had said.
Mhm.
I think that's okay.
I'm journaling and writing about it, and I'm really doing all that. So,
I'm so impressed.
yeah, come to me in, however many more days, and we'll see if I keep it up. I will say I haven't missed it. There's not been one time when I'm like, oh my God, I want this.
So do you think you're getting enough protein or you don't know?
If I had to guess, probably I mean, depending on that's the other thing. Like, I feel like everything you read is a different freaking thing, and it's
Mhm.
maddening. I mean, I'm guilty of it too. Like I read something and I'm like telling everybody that this is what you should have. And then when I worked for
Yeah.
Weight Watchers, they told me what I should have. And then you talk to somebody else and they tell you that you should be doing something different. And it's like, I'm just sick of, just want to do what I want to do right now.
Yes, I love
Okay.
that so
I don't want
much.
anybody mad at me. I just want to do me. Like, you know what I mean?
I love this so much.
I'm just sick of everybody else's rules on how to lose weight and do things. And it's just like, I
One of
gotta
the
listen to my body.
things that gets repeated over and over and over again in my health coach training is that everybody's individual. So what works for you may not work for me. I might take suggestions from you, but it doesn't mean we're going to feel the same.
Right.
Like you could eat gluten and not have a problem. And I eat gluten and I have the belly of a 6-month pregnant woman.
Right.
It's just what happens to me. And we're just different. So I think to know that is very important. There should be no shame, no judgment. You are you. That's it.
I would also say that you and I are a great example of how you have to figure out a plan for you. I
Yeah.
love journaling and I can't be mentally healthy without it, where
Yeah.
you don't like it. You've
No.
said it. It's not for you. Like, so I think that if I was to coach somebody, my things that I would say to you would be totally different than what you would say. So I feel like
Absolutely.
really what you have to do is just try tons of different things and I'm not gonna lie, like remember Corinne Crabtree losing 100 pounds of Corinne?
Yeah.
I do a little bit of what she's talked about and a little bit of Half Size Me podcast
Yes.
she talks about with the weighing and or the weighing yourself thing. And I do a little bit of what we talk about on here and I just do a little bit here and there and I'm just trying. I feel like that's how I do parenting too. I have a
That's
book
how
on it, but I ignore it. Like, you know what I mean?
Mhm. That's all we can ever do is just do the best we can.
Yeah.
And we get information. And these days it's so overwhelming, the information we're getting. You can
Yes.
look at Instagram Reels. One, it says buy organic. The next, it says buying organic is BS.
That's what I'm
That,
saying. Yeah.
yeah.
And I get frustrated. Like I was buying the chickpea pasta and it was so good and it was all good for you. And then it came out that it was Roundup was in it. And I'm like you try so hard to do
Hmm.
good for yourself and your family. And it's like, I'm done right now. I want to follow my own rules.
Yeah. I love it. I love it so much.
And just to throw this out there, on average for the past 3 months, well, I'll do 1 month. 1 month has been about 42 grams of protein a day. No, so
Okay.
it's probably not near what I need, but
But you can't focus on everything all at once.
I don't know what else to do. So
Right now, you're just focusing on whole foods. And
I'm just
honest,
focusing on whole
yeah,
foods. Yes. Yeah.
I'm excited for you.
Doesn't mean I don't have nerds gummies every once in a while, but I'm just saying.
Yeah,
All
that's
right.
true.
So enough about me.
Well,
You have something you love.
I do.
All right.
I
What
I
is it?
changed it from what I was told you I was gonna share. So I was yesterday I was out somewhere and I bought some coconut water
Mm,
and it is so refreshing to me and I thought I should share this for a whole number of reasons. Um, First of all, I have two different brands here. One is C2O coconut water with the
is
pulp.
that
It's in a
carbonated?
can. No, it's not carbonated. It's just in a can and it has
It's got
pulp.
pulp.
Yep. I love
Okay.
it. It's if you like coconut, you would love that one. That one is the most like coconut that I have found.
Okay.
The other one is the Kirkland coconut water. It is at Costco. The the difference from this versus like a Vita Coco is that neither one of these has added sugar.
Oh,
And the reason I'm talking about coconut water is because it's warm weather right now. People are busy outside doing stuff, mowing their lawns or exercising or whatever. They're just out.
hmm,
It's really, really important to get hydration and to maintain your electrolytes. Now, the problem I have is you can go and buy a Gatorade, but the Gatorade is full of so much stuff
yeah, chemicals.
and food colorings. And
Hmm.
you're like, why would I want to put that into my body?
Right.
Coconut water has magnesium, potassium, and some other things that I can't read right now, but it is really, really good for hydration.
Okay.
And electrolytes are minerals that are found in your blood that help regulate and control the balance of fluids in your brain, maintain blood pressure, muscle health, and nerve function.
Wow.
Yeah. And if you have an electrolyte imbalance, you could have confusion, dizziness, fatigue, headaches, loss of appetite, muscle cramps, or spasms, nausea, vomiting, weakness. So it's really, really important to stay hydrated. Obviously, water is the first choice
Yeah.
always, but sometimes you need a little something extra. And the coconut water really is the way to go.
So this is a very dumb question. Do they take a coconut and just squeeze it and get all the juice out of it? I mean, I know when you open a coconut, there's juice in it,
Mhm.
but there can't be that much.
There's a fair amount of juice in one
Like to
coconut.
fill up one whole can of
That
that?
honestly, I don't know the process.
Okay.
That's a good question.
I want to know that so bad. And I think I've asked you and many people before, and nobody knows the answer to this.
I don't know. I'll have to look it up. That's a really good question. Also, one serving, which is half of this can, is 50 calories. So not bad, and
No.
no added sugar.
Hmm. Not bad at all.
Mhm.
Okay. All right.
That's my
Put
thing I
ice
love.
in it, or you just drink it straight from
Oh,
there?
I no, it has to be chilled.
Oh, so you drink it cold. Okay.
Hmm. It
Okay.
tastes amazing.
Okay. I don't
Hmm.
know if I've ever had coconut water.
Really?
Yeah, and I love coconut. I just don't know how I feel about coconut water.
Okay, I'll have to bring you some.
All right.
If you don't like it, I'll drink the rest. It's
Okay.
fine.
All right. So, what's going on? What's the topic today?
Today we're entering the hard season of the year, right? We're about to hit fall.
Hmm.
And I love fall, but it's still, in preparation for Halloween and Thanksgiving and New Year's and all the other holidays that are in there. Um, but it also, what there's a lot of things that are going on in my brain. So I'm trying to
Okay.
get it streamlined. We are entering a hard season. Physically, yes, this is true, but we also have hard seasons in our life.
Hmm.
And they don't necessarily follow the rhythm of the seasons, but we do go through really hard times that just really knock us over. And then we don't know how to get up.
Hmm.
Right? What do you think?
So, yeah, when you said our topic was like what season are you in? My head went in a million directions. Like, because there's a lot of different
Mhm.
seasons that we could be talking about. Um, and I just wrote one down as you were talking that we didn't even talk on. But like, there's a lot of them. And I think what happens is we always get stuck in this season and we say, I'll wait till I get out of this.
Yes.
But here's the thing, we don't even know we're in this season.
Right.
And I think that's key here is like you got to know you're in it before you can realize you need to get out of it or what you can do while you're in it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I jokingly have always called October, November, December Bermuda Triangle.
Oh.
It's like you get in and you like don't know how to get out because you got Halloween, then you got Thanksgiving, and then you got Christmas all rolled into that whole.
Hmm.
It's like a triangle, and it sucks you in, and it's a whole season, you know.
Yes. Yes.
And I guess you could say it would be easy for somebody to say, just wait till January. I'm going to just wait till January.
Right. Right.
I'm going to say something, I guess, crude. When you say that, are you saying, I'll just get fat until January? Is that what we're saying?
No, I don't think that's what we're saying. I
But
think
you
we're
kind of
saying,
are.
no, we're saying, I don't have time to think about this right now. I'm going to wait because I don't have time for myself.
So, but what happens when you don't think about yourself and what you're not doing? Well, I'll speak for me. When I don't think about what I'm going to eat and when I don't focus on things like that, I gain weight,
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
right?
Why do you think people gain weight during this season? Because
Right.
they're not sticking to their so-called plans.
Hmm. All right, so let's back up. What seasons do you have? Because I think this will be a fun part.
Um,
What
well,
are
I have a list of hardships and I have a list of seasons. Which one do you want to go to first?
hard? I don't know.
Okay, so I'm going to go through the list and then we'll
Okay,
talk about the seasons and how they relate. I
okay,
think, if you're okay with that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I was finding a list of hard times that people face. And I think I faced some things, you're facing some things. We both have a lot going on. And I don't think I can talk to another person who isn't facing hard times, honestly, in
Mhm,
some format.
mhm,
And one of the examples was like when your relationship is going through a hard time. You're
mhm.
not talking or fighting, or it could be a relationship with anybody. It doesn't have to be a
Right, it could be a
significant ever.
sibling, right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's like, a season that you're going through in life.
Yeah, because you have it and it totally drains all of your energy away.
Mhm, mhm.
And then you don't have capacity to really pay attention other places.
Yeah. How about taking care of somebody that you love that's sick?
Yes. That's actually really hard. You know what? I've talked about this so many times before, but I had treatment for cancer and I had multiple surgeries and whatnot. And while it was hard, I think watching someone else go through it is even harder.
Mhm.
Being helpless, watching somebody suffer and not being able to do anything, it's 1,000 times worse.
Yeah, it's awful.
Yeah,
It's awful.
it's
Yeah.
awful.
Yeah, I did it as well, and it's one of those things that you don't know how you're gonna get through it. And I actually think a lot of the things that we're gonna talk about are things that once you're in it, you're like, "How the hell am I gonna get through this?" Mine right now,
That's yes.
I don't know how I'm gonna get through my kids in high school. Like,
Yeah.
it's sucking and draining every ounce of my soul out of my body.
Mhm.
But then when you just said that, I remembered that I watched my husband go through chemo, so it's like, I got
Right.
through that, I can get through this too. You know what I
Right,
mean?
and yes, and when you're in it, you're like, "I don't have another way
Right,
out."
right. What else did
Pa
you go ahead.
pause for
So medical, we got that. Oh, we
yeah.
didn't get it all. How about if
Oh,
you personally have a surgery?
yes. You
Let's,
know, when, the
yeah.
very first surgery I had a bilateral mastectomy, and I had drains coming out of me, and I couldn't really move my arms. It took me an hour to get dressed. That felt like the longest 6 weeks of my life. I felt like there was gonna be no end. It was
Mm,
so discouraging.
I'm sure. Gosh, okay. Yeah, that's a tough season.
It's so tough.
All right, here's a different one. Moving.
Oh, like shifting houses?
Yeah, yeah, like if you're moving or your parents are moving or your kids are moving out or
Mhm.
that's a tough one.
Yeah. Or if we've had some people with their parents are aging and they have to move into a assisted living or something,
Mhm.
that's super stressful.
Yeah, that's really hard. I
It's
think
so hard
yeah. All
because
right.
it's not just hard because of the moving, but it's also hard because of the implications. You
The
know,
emotions going with it, you mean?
right. Like if
Mhm.
your kid moves out of the house and goes to college, or if you're uh something else, your parent is moving to another place. It's a lot of emotions that are attached.
Yeah. Okay, what else do you have?
I have something that you might relate to right now, and I obviously relate to, is the trenches of parenthood, the constant state of worry and stress.
Yeah. Mhm.
And there's always something that comes up. And you're like, wait,
Mhm.
I was settled. I was okay. What happened?
Mhm.
Where did this come from?
Mhm. Always there's just and that starts I mean, it just started immediately the minute they're born, before they're born.
Yeah.
It's just yeah, it's tough. That's tough.
I was talking to my daughter yesterday and I was saying, I always worry about you guys. And she
Mhm.
said, why? We're fine. I said, you just don't understand. There's always a level of worry that I have. And if
Mhm.
something comes up, it amps up all of the worry. It makes
Mhm.
it so stressful.
It's terrible. It's
Hmm.
like just when one thing goes, you're like, "Oh, I don't have to worry about that anymore." It's like life throws something and goes, "Yeah, really? Keep thinking.
Haha.
Nice try. Ha
Joke's
ha."
on you. Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm. You know what else is another one? I'm losing my mind. Oh, I thought this was one. Sports
Okay.
seasons.
Tell me what you mean.
Okay, so I've first of all, I've heard plenty of my kids' friends' parents saying, oh my God, I can't wait for softball over or hockey season to be over because they're traveling to and from practices and games
Mhm.
and that. But I've also heard plenty of women say they're a football widow. Like
Oh,
they don't have a husband during the football season because it's Monday night football and Thursday night football and Sunday football. And
yeah.
there's that for football season. So I think for some people, now this isn't me, my family isn't into sports, but I think that for some people, this is a big time of year for football or, whatever else they play.
Fantasy football
Yeah,
leagues.
like there's
Mhm.
so much. So,
Yeah, for sure.
mhm,
What if you're having a tough time at work because you either got missed for a promotion, someone's taken credit for your work, you get dumped on, you've gotten all the work, or you're not getting credit for what you're actually doing.
mhm.
These are all really frustrating moments
Yeah,
that can knock you sideways.
and they're like, there's no, you don't know how long the seasons we are going to be in,
Mhm.
is really what
Yes.
it is. And it's kind of a lot like life in a way. Like, I don't know how long we're going to have beautiful weather right now. It could
Right.
be over next week, or I could be pulling out my hats tomorrow. Like, we don't know. And it's the same
Yeah.
thing with all of these seasons, quote unquote, seasons
Yes.
we're in.
I
You know
agree.
what I mean?
Yep.
I have another one. I think this is the last one that I have on mine. Grieving.
What do you mean
That's
by
a
that?
season. I think that's a season for some of us.
You think
Like,
it's a season
I'll
or
give you well, I don't know how you wanna call that, but I feel like sometimes every year at certain times of the year, if your parent
oh
or a
yeah.
loved one passed away always at a certain time, it hits you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yes.
it becomes a season where you just gotta figure out how long this was gonna go through, and then you gotta figure out how to get through that, you know?
Very, very good
And it's
point.
I don't know if it ever goes away if it's somebody that you really loved.
Yeah.
It's every year at this time for X amount of time, and it's different every year. Sometimes it's 2 weeks, sometimes it's 3 weeks, sometimes it's 5 weeks. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yep.
Or there could be a grieving season on that said person's birthday.
Yes. Yes. Very
And if
true.
you ever go, "I don't know why I'm so hungry. What's going on?" Like, maybe think about that and go, "Oh, is it, you know, so and so's birthday? Or was it something special that happened with that person?" Because your body's remembering. And it's probably trying to get you to not remember it. So it's saying, "Hey, let's eat something."
Right.
Because
That's a
all your
coping
body is
strategy.
trying to do is protect you.
Right. Absolutely.
So,
Um, I had one, a couple of them, but the when you have a financial struggle, and what I mean is, you could have a budget, you're going along, and suddenly your toilet's broken, or your fridge is broken, or you need a new tire, or something happens, and you're like, man, this came all at once. I
yeah,
can't handle anymore.
that is like how again life goes, "Ha ha ha ha. What? You were caught up? What?" Yeah.
No, yeah. You're
Mhm.
planning for a vacation or you're going somewhere and then
Yes.
suddenly it's like, nah, not
Yep.
really.
Sorry. Yeah. That's true. That's a good one too.
And they always happen like in threes. And I don't know why.
That's a good point.
Like your
Y
car will break down and then you need a house repair and then you need to buy something urgently or
Yeah.
medication or
Your
something.
phone breaks, something, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's too
Terrible.
much.
It's way too much.
It's too
So
much.
this
So
podcast topic is making me realize that life is just a lot.
it is a lot.
It's a lot.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I found this article,
Okay.
which it made me think about this differently. So it talked about the four seasons in terms
Okay.
of human beings, okay? And it started out with winter. Winter is a season of sadness, heartbreak, loneliness, and sickness.
Oh.
It's like very dark and very you're slumbering, you're restorative. It may look difficult and hopeless, but if you are prepared, then you're going to weather the winter better.
Oh. How do you be prepared, I guess, is what we have to figure out, right?
Yeah, I'm going to come back to this one
Okay. Okay.
because I want to talk about this more
Great.
in
So
depth.
I also got that real quick while we're on winter. I also found that the actual winter season is a time for withdrawal and closure. And we usually
Hmm.
withdraw from people in the winter.
Yes.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
not around here. It's like party central. I don't know what's going on.
Really? At your house?
It seems like.
Good for you guys. Party it up. All right. What's the next season?
So, spring brings opportunity, it lays the groundwork, and impatience will lead to failure.
What do you mean?
So, in
If,
in this
if in the spring I'm impatient, nothing's going to bloom.
right,
Mm.
if you're like trimming everything and you take out all plants, you don't have anything. And the
Mhm,
same way, we had to lay the groundwork for what seasons are ready to come.
mhm,
Spring is a time of hope and a time of planting seeds, and
mhm.
the same thing goes for us as we're developing skills and abilities to help us weather the different seasons.
Okay.
Um, and then summer, it's you think it's a time to just lay out, get some sun and relax. It's not. It's time to fertilize, pull the weeds, which are bad habits.
Mhm.
Um, your progress needs protection and regular nourishment.
Well, I believe that in the summer for sure you need to protect things.
Yeah.
So easy to just go, whatever.
And
Yeah.
then the fall, which it brings the result of your efforts. So in nature, you get all the produce, but in the fall, we also can reap the rewards of all our efforts. And what I mean by that, all of this is describing it compared to the seasons is if we prepare ourselves and ground ourselves, and if we're nourishing ourselves and sleeping and all the things we're supposed to do, it's easier to withstand some of these storms because they're coming no matter what.
Right. Yeah.
You don't get a choice.
I can't tell you how many times you've said that to me. And I'm like, I always take it and go, she's right. I gotta like just, what am I gonna do? It's coming.
It's
There's
coming. It's
not
coming for
gonna
all of
go
us,
away. Yeah. Yeah.
all of us. And it all looks different and it always shows up differently. And I think the first point that I would make about how to deal with all of this is don't judge yourself. And what I mean is, oh, my situation's not as bad as Leah's. I
Yes.
shouldn't
Don't do
worry.
that. We do that. We minimize our own struggles.
Hmm.
You're right. I hate that.
Well, it's only because whatever you have to deal with is your situation. You can't deal with my situation,
Right.
but you're still stressed about whatever you're dealing with.
Right.
Why are you judging it?
Can I say something judgmental?
Of course.
But at the same time, I don't think we should be like, this is the worst that's ever happened to anyone.
But that's a form of judgment too, don't you think?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm judging somebody for saying that.
Yeah, but what you're judging, but they're also judging themselves. Like, this
That's
is the
true.
worst forever. Nobody's ever dealt with this kind of
Nobody ever
situation.
works with these kind of people like me. Like, yeah, people do. Like, but we do that. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a bad place because you're just shaming yourself for what purpose?
Right.
It doesn't serve any function.
Great reminder. God, great reminder.
Do you have any more about the seasons? Because I have a list of things that I came up with.
No, I don't. Go ahead.
Okay, so we talked about not judging yourself and
Yeah.
giving yourself a break.
Hmm.
I would say also acknowledging the emotions. If you shame yourself for feeling sorry, those feelings just get buried and then they're going to resurface later in a nastier way. So let yourself feel sad, let yourself feel mad, frustrated, whatever the emotion is, let it be for a minute.
Hmm.
You know, I had a accident and my car is messed up. Of course I'm going to be mad. I can't like make that go away in 30 seconds. No.
Hmm.
Yes, I will come up with a plan, but for that little bit of time, I need to be upset and that's
Hmm.
okay.
Yeah, I think that's key to give yourself permission to do it.
Yes.
Give yourself permission to cry and be pissed and be mad and all of those feels. Yeah.
I think that's the first really, really important piece because you can't do anything else without acknowledging I'm sad right now. I'm upset.
Mhm. Also,
Um,
we
mm,
also have to be okay with being bored. I don't think we know how to be bored. And for
oh,
some of these situations, like you might just be bored. If somebody moved out or you have a new home or new things or different things are going on, like it's okay to be bored.
yeah.
That's a emotion and it's okay to be I've caught myself going like, "I wanna eat something, I'm bored." Okay, let's just be bored. It's okay to be bored.
Right.
I don't have to do something, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Absolutely. And
Okay.
that's an emotion too, boredom, for sure.
Yeah. Okay, what else do you
Maintaining routines as much as possible, and you had a really good explanation for this.
I did.
What so
Oh,
if
yeah. So I call it, like, your BMs. You gotta have a good BM, and that is your bare minimum.
okay,
So
because
when
my mind went to the other one, you know
I
that.
know, I know. And I didn't even realize when I first thought of that. Like, you have to, you guys. We have to all have a bare minimum because if you're I'm just gonna use this as an example. Like, let's just say, I have, stress with my kids and I have to get them from here to there to the other thing and everything. It's very easy for me to just tell all of you guys, listen, I'm on the back. I'm not going to care about my weight. I'm not going to care about what I'm eating until they're out of high school. Like, I could easily tell all of you that and be
Yeah,
like, I just gotta wait. Or I could say till the summer when school's over or Christmas break. I could do all of that. But I still might, but I still need to have a BM. I need to have a bare minimum, something I'm going to do even when all of this is going on. And that's when the habits that when you don't have life at the heightened moment is really important to get
yep,
those in. And that's what we try and work on with the call to action is like, let's get your call to actions going. Set a good bare minimum, really, so
right,
that life does hit the fan and you are losing your mind and feel like there's nothing you can do to stay on top of it. You're at least doing something.
absolutely.
Like right now, I'm trying really to only eat my like whole quality good food. I'm not doing anything really else. I don't
Mhm.
have it in me to look at the protein and the fiber and
Yep,
this and that and weigh myself and weigh my food and measure my food. I'm just looking at that. That's my bare minimum right now.
right, right.
It could be exercising. Some people love exercising. That's your bare minimum. Planning ahead is a bare minimum for me also when life is tough, like sitting down on Sunday and planning my week.
Yeah, and that probably saves you actual time.
Right, right.
Yeah. It could be drinking water or just getting sleep.
Yes.
It could be
Yes.
any of those things.
And we have to have a bare minimum. Like, and I think this is also important for everybody that's listening. When you're in one of these tough seasons, you need to say, all right, I'm in this now. I'm in it.
Mm,
Like
mhm,
until my house sells or until I finally move, what's going on? And then you have to say, what's my bare minimum gonna be?
right.
Because you just can't throw in the towel on yourself. You just can't.
You can't because then you won't be good to anybody else.
No. And you won't be happy. You'll be miserable. And it's just, you got to do something.
Yeah. Yeah. The next thing I have is take time to breathe, which is kind of in line with what you're saying. And what I mean by this is if you're running at full speed, you're going to work, you're going to the hospital, you're dropping off your kids, you're going to practice, you're like somebody has a crisis at work, you have to run over there. Like you're running at full speed, you will burn out.
Mhm.
And you need to take a few minutes to do something as a break for your mind. It could be watching a funny show. It could be driving in silence. It could be just taking a minute to just do some deep breaths. It could be anything that gives you like some centering, lowers your blood pressure, just brings you to a place of, okay, I got the next piece of this. I just need a minute.
Yeah.
And like you said, it could be a walk, it could be sitting outside in the sun, it could be any whatever floats your boat.
Mhm.
Just 5 minutes even.
It's important. Yeah. What else?
The next one, which I think is really, really, really important, and especially for I think people like you and me, we don't really ask for help, is leaning on others and saying, "Look, my load is too heavy. Can you help me carry some of this? Can you take this off my plate? Because I don't have it. I don't got it. You got to take it." It's super hard to ask for that help, but it's so critical.
I start itching when you say ask for help. I'm like, oh God, they'll do it wrong. No. But yeah, you feel that way too. Like then they're just gonna ask me how to do it. And it's like, oh, I'll just do it, you know?
It's not even that. I feel personally for me, yours is different. I feel like I'm letting people down if I ask for help.
Oh.
Like, why can't I do it all myself?
Isn't it funny how we think of it differently?
Mhm. Yeah, but no.
Huh. Honestly, that never occurred in my mind once.
I
Bet
just don't
you
wanna
that's why
let
my
anybody
husband
down.
doesn't.
What?
I bet you that's why my husband won't ask for help.
He doesn't
Sorry.
wanna let you
Tell
down?
me. No, he feels like, well, this is just so fascinating that I never this is a perfect example of how I never thought of anybody else in a different way of why they won't ask for help. I just
Oh,
assumed every single person just didn't want anybody to help them because they don't do it the way you do it.
they don't trust? There's a
You
whole
just
slew of
totally
reasons.
Yeah, you just totally opened my whole eyes to something that I never ever thought of before.
Yeah, but there could be so many reasons, but if you don't
Yeah,
ask for help, you're gonna be drowning. I mean, I don't know how some of the people we talk to, I don't know how they're doing it, and something has to give.
yeah, and
And honestly, most people are really happy to help out.
yeah, unless they're teenagers. But yeah, you're right.
Maybe,
Mhm. Yeah,
maybe.
ask for help. Okay.
Um, 2 more things that I was thinking of, and this one may rub some people the wrong way,
Oh, I
but
love it.
what lessons can you get from this experience?
Why first of all, why would that rub someone the wrong way?
Because you're like, "I'm in the middle of a tornado. Why are you asking me to look at my lessons? Forget it. I
Oh,
don't have time for this.
yeah, I
I
see
don't
what
have
you're saying.
time."
Yeah.
But I think the hard moments in your life create growth, and they also create memories, and they also sometimes can help you bond with people if you've gone through something together.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
the moments that you remember, the stories that you tell, you're like, remember when our car broke down and we had to walk 4 miles? Like you tell those stories as a moment of pride and of growth and of just experience, life experience.
Mhm.
And I think that can be important. It doesn't always have to be a clear cut, I'm trying to learn more patience. And it doesn't always have to be that. It
Mhm.
can just be part of your story.
It's a great point. I like actually that you to sit back and think about what you're learning. I think that's a good one. I think it's great.
Well, I mean, I can only speak for myself, but when I was going through my cancer stuff, I I didn't feel sorry for myself, but I was very sad. And I was very like, this is never gonna end. There's
Mhm.
never gonna be an end to this. And I'm so independent, and to even do anything, it was difficult. But something really wonderful came out of that, and that I decided that I want to be happy in my life. And I
Mhm.
needed to figure out, how am I going to be happy? And I had to take some really concrete steps to make myself happier. That didn't happen just by, and it happens to a lot of people who have cancer, but you have cancer, oh, you're happy now. No, it takes
You
work.
gotta work. You gotta work
Yeah.
at it. Yeah.
And took some thought of, what's the point of my life now? Where do I want to go from
Mhm.
this?
Yeah. That's
And the last thing to sort of wrap it all up is, when you come out of it, and you will come out of it,
right.
because there's always an end to a season,
Mhm.
give yourself some rest.
You
Take
don't
a
mean
minute,
sleep. You just mean like
rest,
yeah.
whatever that means to you. For me, it will mean something different than what it means to you. For me, it will be 6 hours of watching Bravo TV. For you, it might be sleeping extra
Yeah.
few hours. It's different for everybody. Whatever that means, take some
Yeah.
rest. Then, and this is going to also anger some people, you have to start preparing yourself for the next season.
Yeah, and that's where it comes in with the finding your bare minimums. Yeah.
Yes, yes,
Getting those habits there because there is going to be another season.
definitely.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
the point, is we keep getting tested, and we keep getting thrown in a tornado or a hurricane or a windstorm. We have to weather that and get through to the next one.
Mhm. Next stormy season.
Mhm.
And they're different storms too. I have two quotes that I found when I was researching this. I
Oh,
like them both. I don't know how they pertain to this, but I like them and I thought it was worth sharing.
Okay.
The first one is joy and pain can coexist.
Yes.
And I think we need to remember that.
Yes. Yes. This actually raises a really good point. You can be sad about something, like say a loved one is sick. Okay. You can be sad about that situation, but you can also have moments where you have joy or you find something funny and you laugh, and that's okay too.
Mhm.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Right. And I think it's important to remember.
Yes.
And this one is, I thought it was interesting. Beauty and suffering are old friends. They hang out together all the time.
Tell me what you think that means.
I don't know if I like the word suffering, but I think it means like beauty and pain and like they go together. It's same as the joy and the pain. Like, but I liked
Okay.
how it was worded as they're friends. You can be friends with that.
Well, I think it means that sometimes, like when you're first planting seeds, it's ugly, right? The dirt ground is all messed up and then it grows and it blooms and becomes something beautiful.
Oh.
It's the same thing within us. Sometimes the process can be ugly, but the end result is something that
Oh, I like the way you take that. Yeah.
could be.
Yeah. So they're both good ones. I just was like, "Ooh, I like them." So,
I like them too. All right, you know what time it is.
call to action, right?
Yeah.
All right. So, I'm just sticking with my whole foods. Eating
Okay.
the best whole foods that I possibly can.
Hmm.
So,
I like this a lot.
that's it. Oh, I'm also stretching my body daily.
Really? When and
Yeah.
where and how?
Um, I'm doing it at least once a day, but I'm trying for two,
Hmm.
just in my house.
Very nice. Just by yourself or are you watching a
Yeah,
video or anything?
both.
Okay. All right. Mine is I want to say two things.
Okay, I'm writing them down.
Do I want to say one thing or two things?
I said two, so you could say two.
Okay. The one thing, and I might have said this in a previous call to action, but it's something I think I've been trying to work on this week is to eat, pause, and see if I'm full or not.
Oh,
Because there was a day last week I made something for myself, and halfway through I was like, I'm really full. But guess what I did? I kept
kept
eating
eating. Why do
because
we do that?
it was there, it would be wasted, it would have to go in the garbage, blah, blah, blah. I don't wanna I felt sick, and I don't wanna do that anymore. I wanna just eat till I'm comfortable and then stop.
That's a great call to action.
Mhm.
I am very curious to know if you know when it is, because I don't know if I know.
I think I've started to know,
Okay.
and I've also said I don't have to be full to be full. That doesn't make sense, but I don't have to be, like, bursting to
Yeah,
be satiated. I
that's a
can
good
stop
quote
before
too.
that point because I don't feel good.
Yeah.
Should I say my second one?
Yeah.
Okay. I have been really negligent about not eating gluten. So that means I have been eating gluten. And last week, like I mentioned earlier, I my stomach was so bloated. It was disgusting. And I was having reflux and I was having pain and it was just awful. Now, I don't know if it's the gluten, but the past 3 days I haven't eaten any and I feel so much better.
Really?
I have to be really serious about this. I
Okay.
think it's really a problem for me. So
Okay.
I'm
We'll
gonna
see how
do the
you do.
two things.
Okay.
It's a
Do
big,
it.
big thing.
All
All
righty.
right. We'll
We'll see
see
you
you
next
next
week.
week.
Bye.
Bye.